Let's go to the White House. Council of Economic Advisors Chair Stephen Miran joins me now. Sir, the White House says we may get trade deal announcements very soon, their words. We know Japan's chief trade negotiator is at the White House today. Are we going to get an announcement today?
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Look, I can't front-run these things, but negotiations are underway, talks are underway, and I think it's absolutely critical for everyone to remember that the president is just absolutely famous for his negotiating skills and famous for an entire career of history of pulling deals out of a hat when nobody thought it was possible. And I think that if we go back to 2018, 2019, to the initial trade conflict with China, nobody thought the Phase 1 deal with China was possible, and yet the president delivered it. And it delivered a stream of concessions from China on intellectual property, on market access, on currency, on purchase of agricultural commodities, and it was a great deal that the president negotiated. And it's too bad that the Biden administration walked away from it, but the president negotiated great deals in the past, and the team is hard at work making deals for now.
What do you make of China's statement that they will talk if we show them respect? And they've also said they're open to doing deals with other countries. That was a statement came out this morning. What do you make of all of that?
Look, China's economy has deep structural problems in it, and they've known about those problems for a long period of time, and that makes them a bit brittle, and that means that they need a deal. President Trump is correct that the United States holds all the cards. We have the leverage, and you have to hand it to the president and the team for creating the leverage to bring other countries to the negotiating table. Over 130 countries have come knocking on saying, we want to talk about a deal. There's 10 very serious offers on the table that the team is looking at, and I think the Chinese have to understand that a deal will be better for them as well. They just have to sort of, come to the table and want to make it.
Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says, look, we may not get a deal with every country within the 90-day pause period. So who gets priority?
Look, I think there's a lot to that. Trade deals are complicated. They're multidimensional. There's tariffs, there's non-tariff barriers, there's market access, there's other things that could go into a trade deal as well. All those are very valid, valid things under consideration. Can you negotiate 90 of them in 90 days? That's a tall order. I think the countries that are getting priority are going to be the ones that are allies and friends of the United States, the ones that come with very serious offers, the ones that are of geostrategic importance as well. And I think that you start to see that in the offers that are already on the table from countries like Vietnam and India and Israel and others. And I think that those countries are can make good first steps towards negotiating deals. The UK, Australia, and I think that there's plausible routes to a deal for a variety of countries if they just come with offers and things the United States will like.
We have over 60% of CEOs expecting a recession in the next 6 months. Former Treasury Secretary Yellen says we would be lucky to skirt a recession. Investor Ray Dalio says he's worried about something bigger than a recession. What's your response to all of this?
Sure. So, look, the president acted with real historic speed and scope to start to put Americans on fairer ground vis-a-vis the rest of the world, vis-a-vis our trading partners, and to end decades of unfair treatment of American workers and firms. And of course, there's going to be market volatility in response to that. Of course, there's going to be bumps on the road in response to that. But I think that it's important to keep the long game in sight. And in the long game, trade is one very important leg of the stool. The tariffs will make American firms more competitive versus our trading partners. Negotiations that take place in lieu of the tariffs will open foreign markets to American firms that we can boost our exports into their markets. But there's two other legs to the stool as well. One of them is tax relief. Congress and the president are hard at work extending the president's famous tax cuts from 2017. And not only will those tax cuts get extended, but the president is set to deliver additional tax relief to American families as well. That's extraordinarily powerful for boosting the economy. And then the third leg of the stool is deregulation. We have to get government out of the way so that firms can invest, hire, build, make stuff in America. And when you combine these three things, trade renegotiation, tax relief, and deregulation, it makes for an extraordinarily powerful economy on the other side. And so financial markets are forward-looking. They'll start to realize that. CEOs are forward-looking. They'll start to realize that also. So is there volatility in the short run? Absolutely. Is a recession possible? Well, it's not my base case, but making predictions is difficult for anyone. But as you look to the long game, this economy is going to be booming in the long run. The president's going to get his golden age, and what we're doing now is laying the ground for that.
Okay, you got it all out there. Stephen Miran, thanks very much for joining us from the White House this morning, Stephen. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.